So we are going to start with today's class. So I'm going to pick up the most important topic. I think you must have heard that making the annual return is the tedious task. Specifically, it involves all the reconciliations which are required to be done before filing of the annual return. So to start with, can I have answers from you people that what exactly is annual return? When I say that we have to file the annual return, I want to know what you people have an idea regarding the annual return. Sayali is saying it is a reconciliation of sales. Sushma ji is saying that it is a matching of books with GST in respect of sales and ITC. Okay, Milind is saying GSTR9. More answers? Come on, people, wake up today. It's a very important topic to be done. I believe you all had your evening tea or coffee. You all are awake, having that amount of caffeine in your body that you're not going to sleep for next 2.5 hours. Okay, now I am seeing a lot of answers. So Subhashji is saying this is a final return which includes all the adjustments. Satyanji is saying finalizing annual GST liability. Okay, now people are coming out with more answers. Reconciliation, summary, consolidation of monthly returns. Okay. So first, we are going to talk about the annual returns meant for the normal taxpayer, that is your GSTR-9 and 9C. Two returns are there, GSTR-9 and 9C. Generally, you must have heard. So what exactly is the GSTR-9 and 9C? It is the return through which the government has given you an option that first do reconciliation, whatever you have done in a financial year, in terms of your GSTR1, your 3B, your books, reconcile, and whatever less you have paid, you can go and give the reconciliations through your 9 and 9C, and accordingly you can make the payments. If there is any difference, you need to know and you need to finalize it, you need to settle it. However, I have not seen a major option coming out in the GSTR9 or 9C which talks about if you have paid any excess liability, then it is a refund application that you have filed. Through refund application, you can go and give the reconciliation statements and claim the refund. And once you say that there is a liability which is required to be paid on account of 9 and 9C, your annual reconciliations, then you need to do it through your DRC03. DRC03 we have already done in the last class. I've told you how DRC03 is filled, and over there you have also seen there is an option on account of reconciliation or on account of annual return. If you want to make any payment, you can do it through DRC03. So annual return is basically your reconciliation of your all the returns filed and your books. Okay. Now tell me next thing, what is the applicability of GSTR9 and 9C? What are the turnover limits for this? Subhashi is asking if there is a liability, will there be a penalty and interest? Of course, Subhashi. Whenever you have not paid the required revenue to the department on time, obviously there is going to be an interest. So whenever you determine any liability on your own, suo moto, and you are making the payment through DRC03 or through 3B of the next period, please make the payment of interest as well along with. वो हिंदी में बोलते हैं हम that हमारा मीटर रुक जाता है इंटरेस्ट का, तो अगर आप साथ के साथ इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट कर दोगे, you will stop your interest calculations thereon. So later on, if department comes out with any notice, it will be only for the penalty part. If the department thinks the amount of revenue leakage was high and you are required to pay a penalty, they will pay. Okay. Sayali, just taking your question out of a blue moon, it's a very different question that you were asking. Interest is, interest rates are 18%. If there is less output paid on output, and 24% if there is reversal of ITC. That is, you have claimed excess of input tax credit, now you are reversing it. The rates are per annum. So you have to calculate for how much period there was a default on your account and now you are making the payment, and then you will accordingly calculate the interest on it depending upon whatever is your liability. Okay. So now coming back to my initial question, that was what is the applicability? So I have got many answers. People are very correct that what is the applicability? It says if your turnover is less than 2 CR, then your GSTR9 is optional. It's up to you. You want to file it or not. If your turnover is more than 2 CR, then it's mandatory for you to file GSTR9. And if your turnover is more than 5 CR, then it's mandatory for you to file GSTR9 and 9C both. So you people are correct. Many people have given me the response that up to 2 CR, it's not required. But understand one thing. What happens is that I, as a chartered accountant, I always suggest my clients, even if their turnover is 30 lakhs, 10 lakhs, they are registered under GST. If they have incurred, filed all the returns and everything correctly, or even if there is a mistake or not, I always suggest them, sir, please go and file your GSTR9. See, when we do GSTR9 filing, we do a lot of reconciliations. If there is a mistake, it gets rectified and your chapter is closed. Even if there is no mistake, now you are giving a proper reconciliation to the government. See, this is my reconciliation. This is what I filed in 1. This is what I filed in 3B, and this is my books. So you can see everything is matching and there is no discrepancy. So it's a favorable point for you to file the GSTR9, and I would say in my practice, I'm getting it filed by 90% of my clients. Even if it is optional, I get them motivated that you need to file your GSTR9. Now there is a change from financial year 2021. We are going to file the annual returns for GSTR for the financial year 2021. Now 9C, it is not required to be certified by a chartered accountant. I believe you all know this. Now self-certification is a thing that would be happening over there, but not certification by a CA is not required. This is a new change happening for financial year 2021. Before that, if the turnover was above 5 CR, we as a chartered accountant were certifying the 9C. And I take this as a very favorable change brought in by the government. See, people, you need to understand one thing. So when we were earlier certifying 9C, we were taking a lot of liability on us as a chartered accountant because we were signing those returns. If there is any liability that arises in future, if we have signed it, it means we must have gone through all the legal processes. Now it's a self-certification. The client needs to do it on their own self. They need to certify it on their own selves. But you people know that if their turnovers are more than 5 CR and they were earlier hiring the services of chartered accountant, it's still difficult for them to do all those reconciliations. We will still be required to perform all the functions. It's just that we are not going to sign it. Pranavi is asking, is there certification required for 9? No, Pranavi, there is no certification for 9. It's only filed through the portal and the SSC will be applying its own digital signatures. Okay. Ganesh is asking, can I file GSTR-9C mandatorily for financial year 2021? Please explain. See, Ganesh, if your turnover is more than 5 CR, it is mandatory for you to file 9C. Then the mandatory things come in scenario. You have to file your 9C and it will be self-certified basis. No chartered accountant signatures required. Okay. Now, help me with the deadlines, which is as per law to file GSTR9 and 9C. What are the deadlines? Okay, Pranavi is saying 30th November. Nandini is saying 31st December. December, most of the people are coming with December 21. Yes. So the date for filing of 9 and 9C for financial year 2021 is 31st December 21. This is the date by which you have to file your 9 and 9C. By law, it is this date, but if you have seen what has happened in the past for the financial year 17-18, I think the returns were filed up to 2019, somewhere in the end. Then for 18-19, I think it happened up to your February 20. And then for this financial year 18-19, 19-20, 19-20, it happened up to March 21st. We were doing the filing. So all the dates were extended. See, when the dates are extended, it puts a negative impact on us as a assessee also, because if you can understand, just 5 minutes back, we were talking about section 73 and 74. The authority with the department to issue us a notice. So the time limits of the department under section 73, section 73 and section 74. This is non-fraudulent. This is fraud cases. So over here it is 3 years. Over here it is 5 years. From when? From when? Date of filing of your annual return. It is calculated from there. So assume now for financial year 17-18, if my annual return was filed in 2019, which was supposed to be filed earlier, but because of the government extension, it was filed later on. So the time limit for issuance of notice by the department is huge. Okay, so it creates an impact in terms of assessment also. So for the financial year 2021, my last date of filing of annual return is 31st December 21. If you people are regular in reading the notifications that are coming from the department, I think last week only, this week only, the notifications came where GSTR9 is now made available on the portal. But still GSTR9 is available for few assessees, not for everyone. 9C is still not there on the portal. I don't even have the latest 9C utility available on the portal, because now the 9C utility will be changed, as there would be self-certification by the assessee, not by the chartered accountant. So so when I'm going to take today's class, I'm going to take you through the older utility of 9C. I believe it's going to be more or less the same. Only the last sheets which talks about the certification part will be changed. Not the entire utility sheet is going to be changed. Okay. 9, I'll take you on the portal. I show you how it looks like, how do we fill it, what kind of reconciliations we'll do. We'll go through all for GSTR9. Okay, so let's start with GSTR9. First, we will complete GSTR9 and then we will go on GSTR9C. So, explain me what exactly reconciliation I'm going to do in GSTR9. And if anybody has ever filed a GSTR9, can tell me what data is pre-filled in this particular return. Because when you log in and you open your GSTR9, it is pre-filled. What exactly is that pre-filled data? You have any idea? Where does it come from? Arshad ji is saying all summary of returns. Arshad ji, it can be any return, right? You are filing multiple returns. Your 1 and 3B are different. Sushma ji is saying GSTR1. Ganesh ji is saying GSTR3B. Okay. So it is partly 1, it is partly 3B. How it happens? Output tables is filled through your GSTR1. Through 3B, it only takes your payment details, what you have paid. Okay, it only takes your payment details, and through 2B, it takes your ITC. See, 2B is something very new that came into existence this year only. Prior to that, it was 2A. So the final the GSTR9, what I have filed till date, I was getting the data from 2A, not through 2B. When I'll be doing my filing for financial year 2021, then only I'll see whether it comes from 2B now or it's still with 2A. Okay, so now what exactly is happening? GSTR9 will give you a pre-filled data of GSTR1 when I talk about output tables. When I talk about payments, it's of the GSTR3B, because in GSTR1 you are not making any of the payment. You are making the payments through 3B, and your ITC details is just that what ITC you have taken and what ITC is appearing in your 2A. These two data are coming pre-filled in your GSTR9. So what is my approach? When I start with GSTR9 and 9C, the approach should be very much clear into my mind, because I have now three kinds of data. If you can understand, now I have three kinds of data. What are they? One data is as per your GSTR1. One data is as per your GSTR3B. And one data is as per your books. You have three sets of data. There might be differences in these data, but these are the three sets of data between which you will be doing all the reconciliations, and accordingly you will be seeing that you have paid excess or less of the taxes. When you start 9, in addition to these three data as per your 1, data as per your 3B, and as per your books, I always recommend you should have two sets of data also. Two more sets. What are they? Transactions done for previous financial year in current financial year, and second is transactions done for current financial year in next financial year. You should have three sets of data to be very readily available with you, whatever you have done in GSTR1 and 3B. Now what are these two exactly the things? That is, we are talking about return of financial year 2021. So transactions done for financial year 1920 in 2021, I should have a separate list of it, a separate list. Similarly, I should have a separate list for transactions done for financial year 2021 in financial year 21-22. I always prefer that I have this data separately. I should always have this data separately with me, readily available. One more point, in the last class we have discussed, I think in GSTR1 or I think in GSTR1, when we were doing GSTR1, we had discussed that if I have to do any adjustments relating to previous financial year, by when can I do? Tell me, what is the last date of doing those adjustments in the next financial year? By when can I do? Yes. So everyone is coming with the correct answer. It is 30th September of next financial year. So when I talk these and these, so 19-20 से related जो changes हमने September 20 तक किए होंगे, and changes relating to financial year 2021 up to September 21. उन changes का, उन amendments को, adjustments को, I will keep them in a separate sheet. It should be there readily available, then only you will be able to do your GSTR9 and 9C easily. And people, you need to understand, When I say these kind of transactions, your adjustments, who will be telling you these adjustments? If you are going as a chartered accountant or as an accountant, do you think you will be able to dig out these changes on your own? Who can tell you these changes? These changes can be told, can be explained to you only by one person, that is the person who is filing their GSTR3B and GSTR1 regularly. Only that person must have maintained his or her accounts and records that these are the changes I have done and I am giving you in a separate Excel sheet. So you should inculcate this habit within you or your accounts team, your juniors, anyone who is working with you, that you are required to maintain this list, amendments or adjustments done separately in your Excel sheet. So before proceeding further, I would like to show you all one sheet. So I think in the last class, I was telling you that I always prefer maintaining the GST data in Excel sheets. So I'm showing you the kind of sheet I am maintaining. Okay, just giving you a snapshot of the same to you. Just a minute. I hope my sheet is visible. So if you can see, I have maintained multiple tabs. I am giving you a sheet, a kind of a general person, the general client. Specific clients have their specific requirements, specific output and specific inputs, and accordingly I can amend my sheets. But I'm just giving you an idea about a general client for whom I am maintaining the data in my Excel files for calculation of GSTR freebie liability every month. So this is the first thing I maintain. The sales data, their data, invoice number, GSTIN, every detail which is there required for your GSTR1. I get all the details maintained with me. And if you can see, I have drafted this sheet very peculiarly where I can get all the drop downs, that what I want my client to enter. I don't give them a lot of options to write, because if I'll give them options, some will write Rajasthan completely, some will write RAJ, some will write small RANJ. It will make my data very messy. So I don't give them a lot of options. I give them only this way, that there is a drop down. You need to select what exactly I am asking from you. You need to select and write down the values. This is how I get my sales sheet made. Then I get my purchase sheet made similarly. My purchase sheet also has certain drop downs which they need to fill it up. ITC, that what kind of supply it is. Is it normal supply? Is it RCM 93 supply? Is it RCM 94 supply? Nil rated? Then whether ITC applicable or not, RCM applicable or not, is it interstate, intrastate? So many questions, and I get this filled it from my client only, so that I can get a proper data first. Secondly, the client cannot take a step back and say that, oh, you have done something wrong while filing the return. So I have the proof, this is the data filled by you, and I'm working on this data only. Okay. Then there is imports. If there is any import, you need to feed the data here. Also here also have given the drop downs. Then there is credit note and debit notes relating to sales, I have mentioned. Then credit debit notes relating to purchases. So what happens is that once I have data in my purchases file, okay, if I have the data in my purchases file and in my sales file, then if you are good enough in your Excel tools, you can go ahead and do what? You can make your summary sheets. I do it like this only. So once my data is filled in this sheet, now be it be 500 rows, be it 1000 rows, 1500 rows, it doesn't matter to me. I just create my summary sheets. In my summary, because I have created a lot of headings, heading wise I get my data. through the summary sheets, and then I link everything to my GSTR-3B main sheet, where I do my calculations. What is my outward liability? What is my credit notes, RCM, imports, debit credit notes? I mentioned everything in this sheet. And this is the place where I calculate what is my payment liability. I've mentioned it here. Amendments can be made in this sheet. It can be made as per your requirement, but this is the way you should maintain the data for your clients. Also, now if you are maintaining the data like this, you can make a separate sheet over here declaring adjustments relating to financial year 2021. Let's suppose during the audit of now this company, now I have realized, and after doing the reconciliations, that there are certain changes required to be made, and in the July month I'm doing that. So I'll make another sheet and I'll mention this is relating to the adjustments for financial year 2021, and when I'm going to link it, like suppose I have not taken certain bills, so I'll insert one row here and I'll say bills or tax invoices for financial year 2021, and I will link it through my sheet and add the liability. So if I am an accountant of the company and anyone would come and ask me that when and how you have done the adjustments, I have all the data available with me. Okay, done. So now many people have asked in my question box that they want the sheet, this form with them. So I can share it with you all people, not an issue. I have exactly framed this for you only. So I'm just sharing it right now. Wait a minute. So oh, yeah, I have. Okay, so from my side, it has gone. I believe you people must have received it. It can be amended. See, this is something what I believe as a chartered accountant or as an accountant, if you need to have legal and technical knowledge side by side, you have to be tech savvy now, because gone are the days when we are going to sit with the calculators and do all the calculations. Ready-made Excel sheet should be there and you should be prone enough to do all these things. So down the line, we are, after this my GST compliance course, I'm going to start with my advanced Excel course. So over here, I'm going to teach you how to make these sheets, then how to make those summary sheets and how to do the linkings and how to keep a data saved with you and what you are required to share with your clients. Please, I've already given you this sheet. Don't ever share this sheet with your clients. Don't ever. This is your hard work, your calculations. Once you share it with your clients, and if they are intelligent enough, they can do all the calculations on their own from next month onwards. So whenever you share data with your client, it has to be without any formulas. Okay. Chalo, आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let's come back to our thing. So we have seen this. We were talking about ये data आपके पास अलग से होना चाहिए. अब उसके बाद when I say GSTR-9 sales की बात करते हैं. Let's talk about the sales things. It has by default the data of GSTR-1. So when I'm going to fill up GSTR-9, what is my target? I'm going to move this data to GSTR-3B. So what RECO I am going to do? I'm going to do a RECO between my GSTR-1 and GSTR-3B. So when you are working on GSTR-9, what exactly the reconciliation is required to be done by you? That is between 1 and GSTR-3B. Two reconciliations, one reconciliation is required to be done for the purpose of 9. But if you are not required to file 9C, that does not mean that you are not going to do the reconciliation with books. You are required to do that reconciliation. Because until unless you won't do that, you won't ever come to know what is the mistake you have committed in terms of your books and 1 and 3B. So I'll show you one more sheet. this GST RICO formats. So this is how I expect minimum. This is my minimum expectation in terms of reconciliation. That this is something minimum I should receive. Okay. So what exactly this is? This is my data as per GSTR-3B. I believe the screen is totally visible to you. Do you want me to increase the size? The font size? So let me. So this is the data as per 3B. I'm maintaining this data output. This particular cell is my output cell and this is my input cell. So first I'm doing the reconciliation as per my 3B for output values. Total output tax monthly. Please do the reconciliation monthly, then only you will be realizing in which month you have committed the offense and in which month you are rectifying it. Then only you will be able to get that. So I'm writing what is my taxable value, IGST, CGST, SGST. Similarly, I have output liability on my RCM if I am liable to pay RCM. So what is the RCM I am paying? Then IGST, CGST and SGST. This is as per my 3B. Then I'm taking the data as per my books. Taxable values, GST liabilities as per my books. This is only for this particular thing, taxable value. RCM का data यहाँ नहीं आएगा, वो input में आएगा as per books में, but output में मैंने यहाँ अभी normal लिया और उसके बाद मेरे पास यहाँ difference क्या आया? Difference between books and 3B. Books and 3B में क्या क्या differences है taxable value और मेरे GST में between 3B and books. First difference that will appear to me. Then I have made a sheet between what is the data as per my GSTR1, what I have shown in B2B, what I have shown in B2CS. Then this is my total value. I've just taken that. Let's suppose I have sales only B2B and B2CS. If you have export sales or any other sales, accordingly columns can be added. This is the total and this shows me what is the difference between 1 and 3B. You can see all the cells are already formalized. So once you will feed the data, you will get the differences automatically. I've already created the formulas over here. So this is how, if I do the comparison, I'll get the data of differences between my books and 3B and between my 1 and 3B. So what exactly is my agenda while filing the 9? Automatically output, I'm just talking about the output, I'm not going on to the input thing. So when it is output, it by default gives me the data of GSTR1. Once I do the RICO of GSTR1 and 3B, I come to know that, okay, these are the differences I have to account. I account those differences and take my GSTR9 to GSTR3B. Now my GSTR3B, when I'm going to file it, it will show me the final status of 3B. If I'm liable to file 9C, so when I'll go on 9C, now my target would be to do the reconciliation between 3B and books. And in the 9C, I will show, see, this is the difference. In 9C, you get an option to provide me the reasons for the differences. So 9C is a much better form. I'll tell these are the reasons and accordingly, I'll make the payments. If you are not required to file 9C, so what we'll do, we have got 9 on my GSTR3B status, but because of my reconciliation, I know that there is a difference between 3B and books. Then I have this DRC03 and I'll go there, select annual return and make the balance payments and I'll keep that challan with me handy. Getting my point? Alaguji is saying column IGST, CGST after RCM. What? Alaguji, output tax liability always always includes your RCM liability as well. So that is why we have made a column that this is the output liability paid for your RCM as well. We have learned that security agent services, lawyer services, Sponsorship services, these are mandatory under RCM, so it is a part of your output thing. Okay. Okay, so we are done with this thing, theoretical thing. Now let's move on to the portal and I'll show you what exactly the things you are required to do. Rahul is saying CES is missing. Yes, Rahul, CES is missing. I have not mentioned because I have made a very general and a basic format. CES is something not happening with everyone. So if your client or if your own registration has CES things, you can add the column. Columns will work. Okay, I have not created any kind of protection on these sheets. Alaguji is saying IGST will not apply to RCM. Why, Alaguji? Why there is a rule that IGST will not apply to RCM? It can. Why not? Let's suppose I have taken services from a lawyer who is sitting in Haryana and I'm in Delhi. If I'm taking his services, I will be paying IGST. Right? Chalo. Let's move forward and I'm going to log in now. So today, people, I'm going to log in on a different on my different registration. It is a registration for my branch office. So it's a very small office of mine. I am not taking you to my main firm's registration. Okay. So now there is a demand from the people that they want the RICO format sheets also. Wait a minute, I'll share it right now only. So dropped it. Oh, sorry. I don't know, people, it's not sharing. What's happening? Okay, gone from my side. Please check in your inboxes. You must have received it. Okay. So I have logged into my portal. So this registration, it belongs to Rajasthan. So I have a registration in Rajasthan. So you can see the number is 08. So through that you can realize, come to know that exactly the state it is. So I'm going to my annual return. So this is also one of the option that I can go through here or through services, returns and annual return. Both the options are available to you. Whatever you want to go through, you can go with. So for 2021, currently it's only showing annual return GSTR9 option. 9C option is not given by the portal on any of the people's dashboard. I have seen that yesterday. I've checked it. So even GSTR9 option is not working for anyone. See, I'm not sure why it is so happening, but it is so for my portal. My GSTR9 function is happening. But when I was seeing for clients having turnover more than 5 CR, I checked to see the GSTR9C thing. So for them, even the 9 is not working. It's the notification that came last week only, and our GST department takes time to implement the notification. So still it's not there. We need to wait. So might be for many people, when you people are going to log in your own portal, so it might happen that your 9 is not working. So we are going for the online functionality. Generally, I'm saying generally, we file 9 through online portal and 9C through the utility. 9C cannot be filed without using the utility. You fill your entire data in the utility and then you upload the JSON format on the portal. So very first questions, do you want to file a nil return? Nil return can be filed only if all these conditions are satisfied. make sure it is writing and. Whenever and is written, it means all the conditions have to be satisfied. That is, there should be no outward supply, no inward supply. There is no any other liability. Any other liability might be you don't have any outward liability, outward supply, you don't have inward supply, but you have filed your returns late. Then you have a liability of late fees. So any other liability to report, you should not have claimed any credit, you should not have claimed any refund, and there should not be any order from the department saying that you are liable to pay any amount. Only in those cases you can file your nil return. Otherwise, you have to file a return. So I say that I have this, no, I don't need to file a nil return, and I say next. Okay. So once you log into your GSTR9, it will show you your legal name, trade name, status. Now these are very important 4 documents. Please, before starting your 9, please download them. So I'm going to download it. Let's make a new folder. GSTR9 DAA for my firm. So I'm going to download here. What is it? First is GSTR9 system computed summary. So whatever is generated by the system on its own, it is that summary. So what I've told you just 5 minutes before is that what my target would be, I would be taking this data, this is GSTR1 data, I'll be taking it to GSTR3B data. So I'm going to make changes in this data. So this file will always give me the data which was originally given by the portal to me for GSTR9 summary, and which is your GSTR1 data. So I'll download this. This is a PDF that will come, and I'll save it there. Then this is GSTR1 summary. GSTR1 summary filed for the entire year. Then this is GSTR3B summary for the entire financial year. And this is table 8A document details. So I have saved everything over here. It is taking time. It will take some time. Let it happen. Okay. So if you will see GSTR9, it is giving me the entire GSTR9 table, its summary over here. Then it is your GSTR1. The way the GSTR1 PDF comes, it exactly just the summary of the same, the totals for the entire year. It is coming. And similarly, I'm getting the 3B. But you should always have these documents in record. These are the original data input into the system. Okay. So let's start. I'm starting with this details of first box is for your output liability. So your boxes through which I'm going to cover my output liabilities are table 4, table 5, table 10 and table 11. Please remember for output what all tables I'm going to cover. Output tables are table 4, 5, 10 and 11. These 4 tables only will cover your data regarding your output liability. Okay. So we are starting with my table 4. People, just give me a minute, just a minute. Yeah, I'm back. Just my glass of water has finished. So if you remember exactly what we have done in GSTR1. all the tables and columns that were there in GSTR1, it's a summary of that only in my GSTR9. So very first column, supplies that you have made to the unregistered person, that will come here in your B2C. Yeah. So all the unregistered customers. Now this can be B2CS or B2CL. If you remember, B2CL is the customers whose invoice value was more than 2.5 lakhs and B2CS was below than that. So unregistered customers, both B2CL and B2CS will come here. This will cover the supplies made to registered person. So if I have made supplies to registered person, so it will come here. All my B2B billing is going to be over here. But I'll share one thing. Let's suppose in my GSTR1, I have shown a bill of 4,57,125. But while filing the 3B, I have shown a bill of 2 lakhs and I have shown the liability of 18,000 and 18,000. Sorry. So if you can notice what has happened, he has marked these boxes as red. These are red boxes now. Let's suppose if I mark this figure as 4 lakh. Earlier it was 4,37,000, but now I'm marking it as 4 lakh. My box is not red. So what is happening? If your differences are more than 10%, it mark your box as red. So once you make the changes and if the changes are more than 10%, the government takes into account that there is a difference of more than 10%. So that is their leeway area. That okay, agreed, you can make a mistake of 10%, but not more than that. So let's suppose if you have by mistake done that, first declare correct data as per your 3B. So let's suppose if I had filed in my 3B 2 lakhs, I'll mention here 2 lakhs only. Okay. %20 difference. It is saying it gave me an error that your difference is more than 20%. It's not 10%, it's 20%. So it has marked red. So I have done a mistake while filing my 3B. I'll keep it here as same. So if my 3B says 2 lakh, I'm going to say 2 lakhs only. Then only this data will match with my, I'll show you which data, just wait. So this table 4, table 5, table 4 plus 5 plus 10 minus 11, that data will match with this table 9. Table 9 shows me what I have paid the taxes in 3B. So if you will see my table 9, it shows that is tax payable. You can make amendment in this tax payable column, but you cannot make changes in these columns paid through cash and paid through ITC. You cannot make changes over here. So this is taken from 3B. So if I have shown a liability of 2 lakhs in my 3B and accordingly I have made the payments, so it will be shown here only. So if I'll convert my tax payable over there to 18,000, from 41,000 to 18,000, I'll come here, I'll make this also 18,000 and accordingly I'll show that the same I have paid in cash. But now I have realized that I have less paid the taxes by 18,000. I'll file a DRC03 and make the payments. So there are questions coming that how we can show the adjustments. We are coming to that. Just have some patience. So initially what we are showing B2B, B2C, then those zero rated supplies on which you have made payment of taxes, that is exports done without having LUT. These are declared here. Then there is supplies to SEZ. If you have done supplies to SEZ on payment of taxes, all these columns are including payment of taxes. Then we will go to table 5. Table 5 cover those areas which are happening without payment of taxes. Deemed exports. Deemed exports, I'm just giving you a summary that what exactly is deemed exports. So there by notification, there are certain exports to which have been defined as deemed exports. I've actually kept this note for you as well. So today when the data, you're going to receive the data for today's class, you will get this note for what are deemed exports. So if you will see what are deemed export, these are the description. Basically, if the capital goods are purchased against EPCG license, then if you are supplying the goods against an advance ruling, and then if you are supplying goods to a export oriented unit. So these are deemed exports, not generally happening. For few organizations, this is happening. So if you are doing any deemed exports with payment of taxes, it will appear here. Then if there are any advances on which tax has been paid but invoice has not been issued, get this point. Those advances, let's suppose I'll just show you. I'll say advances. We are filling it for the entire class. We are working for financial year 2021. Now let's suppose in November 20, we have received an advance. The advance was for rupees 1 lakh and it has tax component of 18,000. I have received this advance for services to be rendered. Since I am a service provider, I have received this advance. But up to 31st March, I have not rendered the services. So no billing has happened at my place. Still in my books, it is showing as advance from customers as on 31st March 2021. It is still shown as advance from customers. So this is the advance which is not adjusted up to the end of the financial year. So for those only, you need to fill the data advances on which taxes have been paid but invoice has not been issued. So that 1 lakh will appear here because in 3B you have made that payment, right? Then inward supplies on which tax is required to be paid on reverse charge. If there was any RCM liable to you and you have made the payments through reverse charge, it will appear here. You need to mention it here. Then it is taking a sum total. If you have raised any credit notes in respect of these transactions above B to E, only in respect of these transactions, please do understand the language. Only these transactions, not all the credit note, not all the debit notes. Only in respect of these transactions, those have to be mentioned here. Also, one more important point, table 4 will cover only those transactions which you have done in financial year 2021. Getting? Financial year 2021, not the adjustments that I have done in the next 6 months. That is up to September 21, not those transactions. It is only the transactions done for the financial year 2021. For the adjustments in the next 6 months, then I have separate columns. Okay, Pranavi, I think I have covered your question. Then if there are any debit notes issued in respect of transactions above mentioned, if there is anything like that. Also, people, please do take care. These are all the credit notes and debit notes relating to sales. Till yet, we are not talking about any of the debit or credit note relating to purchases. Okay. Then, if there is any supplies or tax declared through amendments in the same financial year, if you have done, you have to declare it here. So how this can happen practically? So while filing the return for June 20, I have declared a sales of 1 lakh rupees. Now, when I was filing my return for the month of September 20, I suddenly realized that in the month of June, I have shown my sale less by 10,000 or 20,000. So if I have done any amendments, I'll come and mention it over here. Okay. So similarly, if any reduction has been done, I'll mention it here. This M column takes subtotal of I to L. I2L is taken. This is a negative figure. This is a negative figure. And then I come with a total of table 4n. 4n's total is M column and H column. So I get a total. See, in GSTR9, I believe it's important to remember certain table names. 4n, 5n, table 10, table 11. It makes your life easy when you move towards GSTR9C. So there is a question from Pranavi. She says that if we have made adjustments for financial year 2021 in June 21, how to show that in GSTR9? Pranavi, another 5-10 minutes, we are going to cover that question. Okay. So let's move forward. So when I go to my table 5, it talks about, now in the table 4, we were talking about transactions done in financial year 2021, and that too those transactions which were with payment of taxes. Now in table 5, we are covering those transactions which are related to financial year 2021 and transactions done in financial year 2021, but which are without payment of taxes. So see, there is no tax column here, nothing is there. So it is, if it is zero rated supply without payment of taxes, then there is supply to SEZ without payment of taxes, supplies on which tax is to be paid by recipient on reverse charge basis, but it does not attract any GST, exempted supplies made by you, nil rated, non-GST. If there are any credit or debit notes issued with respect to these supplies, and there are any amendments which are done with respect to these supplies, have to be shown here. So now your total turnover, this is your which column? This is your table 5. 5n. 5n shows what data? 4n. 4n was what? Previous table. Table 4 last column 4n plus 5n minus 4g. That is 4n plus 5m. This is your 5m minus 4g. So it is reducing 4g. Let's see what is 4g. 4g was this. Inward supplies on which tax is liable to be paid on reverse charge, because this is related to your RCM. So we are reducing it. So table 5n, what it will come to? 5n is 4n plus 5m minus 4g. 4g is your reverse charge on your input. So 5n is sheerly giving you what figure? Your total output, your total turnover, which you have shown in financial year 2021. Total taxable turnover, including your exempt supply, nil rated supply, zero rated supply, deemed exports, credit notes, debit notes, in relation to that particular financial year, in that financial year only. R.K. Pradhanji is asking, amendments means done during the year or at the time of reconciliation? R.K. Pradhanji, table 4 and table 5, I'm talking about the amendments done during the same financial year. So during the next year, whenever I'm doing reconciliation, let's suppose we are talking about financial year 2021 only, and I realize in the month of June, I have left some mistake. If I'm going to make any changes, I'll come to table 10 and 11. So when I come to table 10 and 11, this is table 10. These are this particular box is a combination of 4 tables, 10, 11, 12, 13. So currently we'll talk about 10, 11 only. 10 says supplies or tax declared through amendments, net of debit notes. So if you have increased your tax liabilities for the financial year 2021, during the next 6 months of the next financial year, I'm going to declare it here. So you can read the heading also. It very clearly says particular of the transactions for the financial year declared in returns of the next financial year till the specified period. So specified period is September 21. So in the next financial year period. So if I have done anything relating to financial year 2021, in the returns for the period April 21 to September 21, I'm going to declare it here. So this is the column given for sales liability increased. It can be increased through anything. You have forgot to raise any sales bill, you have forgot to add any debit notes that are meant for supplementary bills, you need to mention it here. And it means that on the same transactions, you have paid the taxes in 3B in when? In the next period. So when I talk about table 9, which I've showed you just 5 minutes back, which shows me what I've paid through 3B. So that also contains the data of the payment made during financial year 2021. But when I talk about these amendments, and because of which whatever taxes I have paid, it will be shown separately. Okay. Similarly, it is supplies or tax reduced through amendment net of credit notes. So I will mention it here. I'm talking about sales only right now because we have not yet started ITC, the input. So I'm talking about table 10 and 12 only. So whatever you are mentioning in table 10 and 11, in table 14, you will tell me that what is the differential tax paid on account of 10 and 11. So when I'll open table 14, it is related to table 10 and 11 only. Differential tax paid on account of declaration in table 10 and 11. So if the net impact, the increase in sales and the decrease in sales is a positive impact, so I'll show net of the taxes paid. Since it is a payment of tax happening in the next financial year, obviously I must have paid interest also. So whatever interest payment I have made, I have given a table to show that interest payments. So I can show that interest payments as well. Okay, I'll declare I have paid a tax of 10,000, 10,000 CGST, 10,000 SGST, and this is my interest. Cess is applicable. If applicable, I'll show that cess also. You all have got my point regarding the output. This is how the output thing happens. Are we clear till here? 9. See, if you are able to grasp 9 very properly, 9C is very easy. I think it won't take a lot of time. 9 is very important, the reconciliation, and for everyone above 2 crores, it is mandatory. Okay, Nandini is saying table 10 once more. So Nandini, table 10, if let's suppose for the month of September 20, I have failed to show the liability during the month September 20. And even up to March 21, I have not shown the liability. When I was in the month of July 21, I realized that I have not paid the taxes. So while filing the GSTR-3B for the month of July 21, please do consider what months I'm talking about. So in July 21, I paid the taxes for September 20. That data will come here. That is particulars of the transaction for the financial year declared in returns of the next financial year. And so that is why the taxes relating to September 20 I have paid while filing the 3B for the month of July 21. So that will come in table 14. Okay, clear? Okay. Subhashi saying, will we get refund of excess interest paid? Subhashi, for that we have to go to the refund column. RFD forms we have to file, and there we have to attach the proper documents. Tomorrow we are going to cover the refund part as well, where I'll tell you what are the different kind of refunds that we can take and what all documents we need to file. We'll be doing that tomorrow, so over tomorrow we can have this question. Laguji is saying, can we show the taxable value in table 11 even it is not disclosed in the next financial year? So Laguji, you are saying that let's suppose till date September 21 has passed and I have not declared the taxable value. Now you are saying that can I do it that? How can you do it that if you have not declared in any of the return? If you will do it like that now, what will happen? I don't know my GST portal is that intelligent or not, but when we were filing the GST return for financial year 18-19, the second period, it was told that in the previous year return, if you have declared that we have done the 17-18 transactions in 18-19, so when you will file the return for 18-19, it will automatically deduct it. So if I'll come in table 10 or table 11, I'll declare some value which I have not actually done. So what will happen? The system will automatically take these figures in financial year 21-22. So वो वहां से it will deduct it and it will make an impact on the total figures of 21-22. So if you have not done it, please don't declare it here. If you have something to be paid, you have DRC03. It's a separate thing. Over there, I think last time I've shown you, there is an attachment option available. You can make your reconciliation sheets. You can attach it, and in the remarks column, you will provide that this is the tax I'm paying on account of this difference. Okay. Okay, that's good. You are able to understand it. So people, what we'll do, we are going to then go ahead with ITC. It's a separate topic. I don't want to leave it in between. So let's take a break for 10 minutes and then we will start with the ITC thing. So currently I think time is 7:13 break time and we will meet exactly at 7:25. Okay, just a quick break, come back. Okay, so are we all back from the break? Can we start ahead now? So there is a question from Alagu Ji. He's saying that data to be filled in table 4 and 5 of annual return should have been disclosed in any monthly return of the current year or next financial year. Alagu Ji, your understanding is partially correct, partially non-correct. Table 4 and 5 of the annual return should contain data disclosed in monthly return of the current financial year only. That is financial year 2021 only. The data which I have declared in the next 6 months, that is April 21 to September 21, relating to financial year 2021, will be shown in table 10 and 11. Clear? I can make a chart on that. I think that would be more. So we are talking about the data of financial year 2021 declared in April 22, March 21. This will come in table 4 and 5. If declared in April 21 to September 21. Oops, sorry. Is my screen now visible? So declared in April, September, so it will come in table 10 and 11. These are basically adjustments. Okay? Clear to everyone. This is a very important area, so that is why I'm repeating it again and again. There should be no confusion in this. Okay? Logged out. Just a minute. I need to log in again. I'm going through the returns and return. Okay, so now we are coming on table 6. So till now we have talked about the output liability. Now from table 6 onwards, we will talking about the ITC. Okay. So what it shows is that first table, this particular A, 6A, it will by default take the figures from your 3B. So what exactly the figures it is going to take? We have downloaded our data. So when we will go to this 3B thing, so since see this is one of my branch where I'm not functioning a lot, so only one transaction or two transactions happens during the year. But since I have this 20 lakhs limit, so I have to take PAN based registration. So all my branches have to be registered. So I have to get my this branch as well registered. During the said financial year, I have not taken any single ITC. 0000 figure is here. If I would have taken, so this figure which is coming in eligible ITC, which we have done in 3D, net ITC figure, which would have been coming in this column C1, would have been appearing over here. See, when I am bringing my mouse on this, it is showing that you are not allowed to feed any figure. So it would be automatically taking that figure. So now for ITC, it is taking figures from where? From my 3B. Getting it? So the figure will be taken from my 3B. Now let's suppose if I have taken an ITC of lakh in all the three, IGST, CGST, SGST, a total of 3 lakhs of IGST, it would be showing lakh. Now I have to bifurcate that lakh rupees, that on what account I have taken those IGST. So the bifurcation can be, first, inward supplies other than my imports. Imports chhod do, leave your imports of goods and services left, and inward supplies liable to reverse charge. And what you need to leave? Your RCM things. So don't mention your RCM things here, but includes services received from SEZ. But if you have received any services from SEZ unit, then you need to mention it here. Okay. So total ITC, exclude what? Imports, exclude inward supplies liable to reverse charge, but include services received from SEZ. Take that total figure and then you have to bifurcate that total figure into inputs, capital goods, and input services. I believe in the 3B sheet that I have made, just let me check it. I generally give that bifurcation as well. So if I go for purchase, yes. So in my 3B sheet, see, I have given this bifurcation as well, type of input. What kind of input this is? Input hai, input services hai, ya capital goods hai. See, that is why when you make your 3B sheets, I make it elaborate. Sometimes clients do shout that why you have making such an elaborate sheet. See, this is one-time effort that you are making every month. It's quite easy to do it every month rather than taking this information on an annual basis. So once you accumulate all kind of data, you can do all kind of permutations and combinations, and you can take out any kind of reports. Okay, benefit of taking that kind of inputs from your customers. Then this was this inputs other than imports and reverse charge. C is inward supplies received from unregistered person liable to reverse charge. Now the RCM section 9.3, which we have already read. What is 9.3? So now 3 can be services received from a registered person or from an unregistered person. Both ways it can happen. Like GTS service providers, they can be registered, they cannot be registered. So if they are not registered, you need to mention it here. If they are registered, you need to mention it in the next column, which says inward supplies received from registered persons liable to reverse charge. So this is the difference between point C and point D. Point C is from unregistered person and point D is from registered person, both the reverse charge things. So whatever ITC you have taken here, you are just bifurcating it under separate heads. Then it includes import of goods, including supplies from SEZ. This is goods first, including from SEZ. Over here, we have included services received from SEZ. Over here, we are talking about goods, import of goods, including SEZ. So if it is inputs, if it is capital goods, imports can be of anything, be it inputs or capital goods. Then there is import of services. Now it has excluded the inward supplies from SEZ because inward supplies from SEZ have been included in point B. Okay. Then there is amount of ITC reclaimed other than be under the provisions of the Act. Can anyone tell me what is this ITC reclaimed? Any idea? When I say ITC reclaimed, what it is? Yes. I want some answers. So Pranavi is saying ITC reversed and then claimed again. Pranavi, be more, your thought is correct. Okay, ITC reversed and then claimed again. Tell me any situation when it happens. No, Sayali, it is not RCM claimed. It is not that. Okay, so Sushma ji is correct, absolutely correct. She is saying that this is ITC reversed on account of 6 months payment criteria, right? Then RK Pradhanji is saying coming back to normal registration from composition. Okay. So that is fine. So people are very correct with their answers. So what exactly it is? It says that if there is any ITC which was reversed by you because of any of the scenario, and then now because of the provisions of the act, you are reclaiming it, then it would come here. So Veena ji is saying that ITC claim for which assessee failed to pay consideration to supplier within 180 days, it should be 180 days from date of purchase. So you all are correct. So what exactly happens? The law says is that, let's suppose I have made any purchase today. My date of purchase is today. So I am required to make the payment to my vendor within 180 days. If I fail to make the payments within 180 days, I am liable to reverse the ITC along with applicable interest. The date when I am going to make the payment again, I can reclaim it. Okay, so you need to provide it separately over here. Then it talks about difference I minus A above. It talks about subtotal B2H, ये पूरा total ले आएगा. Then जो 3B में you have taken the figure and your this total figure, if there is a difference, it will come here. Okay, the difference will appear here. There are many scenarios when differences will appear because while doing the 3B totals, you might incur any kind of mistakes. I'll give you one more reason why it comes. So let's go to the next page, then it would be better to explain you. I'll explain it to you there. Next it is saying transition credit. So this was something that happened in financial year 17-18, and if you are allowed by the code to revise your Tran 1, you can mention it here. Tran 2 was filed by those who have filed Tran 1 and who have taken the VAT ITC. They were then required to file Tran 2. So if there is any transition credit through Tran 2, it will come here. Then N means any other ITC availed but not specified above. So this is a very important column M. What we mention here is that might be while filing the return for financial year 2021. Let's take the month June 20. So while filing the return for the month of June 20, I have taken the ITC relating to financial year 1920 as well. Right? So when I have taken that ITC, I will declare that ITC here. ITC relating to financial year 1920, taken in financial year 2021, I will mention it here. In next 10 to 15 minutes, you will realize that why we are doing so, why we are taking it in a separate column, why we have not taken it in this B column only, because it must be also some input capital goods or input services, but we have not taken them. We have taken it separately. I'll explain. This is subtotal, and then it is your total ITC availed 60, total ITC that you have availed. Still there might be a difference between what you have claimed in 3B and what bifurcation you have given. This can appear in one scenario. There can be many scenarios, but I'm just giving you one more scenario. So over here in this table, it has not given me an option for the ITC ineligible, which I haven't claimed. It is talking about the total ITC only. And the 3B figure that it has taken, that is the net figure. You will see this form. This is net ITC available. It has taken all these bifurcation till here, but it has not taken the bifurcation of ITC reversed as per rule 4243 or others. It has not talked about it. It has not even talked about 17.5. So what I do is that when I file my this return, over here I'm going to give a total ITC handbrake to them. Let's suppose I have taken inputs worth rupees lakh. Out of lakh rupees, 20,000 ITC belong to ineligible items of section 17.5. So I'll mention here lakh only. However, in 3B it is 80,000. So a difference of 20,000 will appear here. How this 20,000 will nullify? When I'll go to the next column, table 7. Now table 7 talks about all the reversals that you have done as per rule 37, 39, rule 42, 43, section 17.5, tran 1, tran 2. If anything not specifically falling in any of the above rules, if others. You need to mention it will take a total summation of the ITC reverse and then it will give you the figure of net ITC available. Now this is also important column, J column, 7J column. 7J is an important column. The figure coming over here is important because this figure will get transferred to your 9C. So when I said table 4N, table 5N, 5N plus 10 plus 10 minus 11. So why I am repetitively taking these table names? Because this is going to hit in your 9C. So when you will be doing 9C, you will actually feel it's important to remember these table names, their output names. So here we will get the figure of net ITC available. Now consider one thing, it is talking about 6O. Let's go back and see what is 6O. 6O is this, I plus N, N is this, K to M, and I is this, B to H. So entire total, it has taken the entire total, be it be normal ITC, be it be import of goods, be it be RCM, 7J is taken all the ITC into consideration. Okay, so from 7J, what will happen? Now, figure went from table 6 to table 7. And now from table 7, I am going to table 8. So when I go to table 8, what it will show? It will show what is the ITC as per table GSTR2A. It is again talking about GSTR2A. It is still not talking about 2B. So I don't have any reasons to believe that why 2B will come here. It's still 2A. So it will get automatically filled. I'm not going to fill it up. So 2A talks about all the invoices which were uploaded by my vendors in my name in their GSTR1. Now this 8B will take what data? It will take ITC as per 6B and 6H. It is not taking the value of 7J. Getting my point? Value of 7J is not coming here. It is 6B and 6H. Let's go back and see what is 6B and 6H. So 6B is this, inward supplies other than RCM. So obviously if the inward supplies are other than RCM, it would be appearing on my GSTR2A. RCM will appear in my 2A only if the purchases are from the registered dealer. From the unregistered dealer purchases, liable to RCM won't appear in my 2A because they are unregistered. They won't show their returns flowing to my portals, their sale invoices flowing to my portals. Sorry. And 6H says amount of ITC reclaimed under the provisions of the Act. So if there is any ITC reclaim, that will also come here. Okay. Let's go back now. Now what it is doing in table 8, it is doing a reconciliation of ITC as per 2A and ITC as per sum total of 6B and 6H. It will come here. Differences will arise. Now it will also ask you that tell us those ITC which is relating to your financial year 2021, but you are claiming in financial year 21-22. Okay. Now understand one more point over here. Difference column. Difference column is what? A minus B plus C. A is as per your 2A and it is subtracting from it what? ITC taken and ITC which you have taken in the next financial year. So let's suppose if in my 2A it is appearing an ITC of lakh rupees, in the current financial year I have taken an ITC of 80,000, but 20,000 I have taken in the next financial year. So the difference would be now 0. The portal will say that as per 2A, lakh rupees of ITC was appearing and you have taken it accordingly. Do consider one thing. If the difference is positive, a plus figure, it's okay. We are still in a better situation because when I am saying my difference is plus, I am trying to say that ITC as per my 2A was more as compared to what ITC I have actually taken. But if the difference is negative, what are we trying to show? That we have taken ITC more than what is appearing in my 2A. I have done that. This is a revenue loss to the government and the government will come back and say that you have taken ITC more than what you were required to take. All of you getting my point? So negative difference is really bad for us. Also, when I went to 6B column, so while writing the figures for 6B column, whatever was my ineligible ITC, let's suppose under section 17.5, I have purchased a car. I'm not eligible to claim its ITC. So when I'm going to mention the bifurcation in 6B, input, capital goods and input services, and if it is a capital good for me, I'll mention that car ITC over there. And then when I'll go to table 7, and I'll show reversal of ITC as per section 17.5, I'll go there and mention the ITC of car there. What is the benefit of doing the representation like this? As per 2A, 2A will show my car ITC as well. And I assume, see, car is a big asset. It will be having a huge amount of ITC on it as compared to my normal business. So if a huge amount of ITC is appearing here and 6B does not cover that car ITC figure, what will happen? This difference figure will not be showing you the correct data. It will be showing you incorrect data. You might get positive figures even though they are not positive figures. So that is why it is very important to show exact data in 6B, which is going to flow in your table 8. Clear to everyone? I know it's quite complicated. Any doubt, anything, you can ask me. It's a little bit complex. What has to be written, what has not to be written. Keep on asking the doubts because I don't want 9 to be left with any kind of confusion with you people. It should be properly stuck into your brains. Okay, so I'm moving forward. So the difference comes here. If the difference comes here and it is a positive figure, you can give a bifurcation that it is a ITC available, but I have not availed. My mistake, I haven't availed it. It is available, but it is an ineligible ITC. So that is why a positive figure is coming. I can even say that. IGST paid on import of goods. Import of goods, you have to show it on separately. IGST credit availed on import of goods. This is paid and this is credit availed on import of goods as per 6E above. Then difference if there is any. ITC available but not availed on import of goods. If there is any, you have not availed. And this is ITC to be lapsed. So E plus F plus J will show you that this is the ITC which was available to you You were eligible to claim that ITC, but you have lapsed it. Okay. The thing that we have left with in terms of ITC is the adjustments. So in table 6 and 7, we have talked about whatever ITC things we have done during the said financial year, but we haven't talked about the ITC adjustments that we have done. So if you will see in table 12 and 13, so in table 12 and 13, it talks about the ITC adjustments that you have done relating to the financial year 2021 in the period April 21 to September 21. If there is any adjustment done by you, you will mention it here. So reversal of ITC. Any reversal of ITC you are doing, you will declare it here. Any ITC availed for the previous financial year, if for financial year 2021 you are availing, you will mention it here. You have to give a bifurcation. You cannot show net figures. कि पॉजिटिव आया तो आईटीसी अवेल्ड में डाल दिया और नेगेटिव आया तो हमने उसमें डाल दिया, ऐसा नहीं करना है. Don't show the net figures. Why? See, government is like, if you were liable to avail, it will say okay. But if you were liable to reverse, you have to pay interest on the reversal. I, as a habit, if there is a reversal, I get it paid, even if I have some ITC which was to be availed. Reversal, I calculated it separately. I think I always take a conservative approach while talking about the revenue of the department. There is any revenue leakage, obviously department will come back to me. I don't want to leave such areas. So because of table 10, 11, 12, 13, whatever ITC liability, GST liability is appearing or the interest liability, table 14 will cover all of them total. So when we were talking about output, we talked about only 10 and 11 liability, but table 14 will cover all the 4 aspects. 10, 11, 12 and 13, all 4. Okay? Okay? So we are done with table 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. 9 मैंने आपको दिखाया था. 9 was exactly this particular area, paid through cash, paid through ITC. This is something that they have taken from 3B. Now this tax payable figure, they generally take it from GSTR1. What is the output liability? Now in table 4 and 5, we have changed the detail and we have made it as per what? GSTR3B. So you can come and make the changes over here. So let's suppose my liability was 50,000, but I have paid 41 3B liability. So it will exactly match with what I have paid and what I was declaring in 3B. Over here, there would be rare chances of differences appearing. Then there is table 15. Table 15, you have to give a total data about if you have claimed any refund during the year, what amount of refund was sanctioned, what was rejected, what is pending, total demand of taxes if any is there from the department in you will declare it here. Total taxes paid in respect of E, and what are the demands pending. You will give a summary of all your data over here, the funds and demands. Then there is table 16. Table 16, please to fill it. Generally, I have seen people are not filling it, even in table, even in filing your GSTR3B. This talks about the services received from composition dealers and nil rated, exempt. Talks about from composition dealer deemed supplied by job worker and goods sent on approval basis. Composition taxpayers we have already discussed. Deemed supply by job worker, that is if there is any kind of deemed supply under section 143, you will cover here, and goods sent on approval basis, if we have sent any goods on approval basis to our customers, so it will be covered here. If we are receiving back those supplies, we are going to mention it here. Then this is HSN summary of outward supplies. HSN summary you are required to mention. Add your HSN details. Whatever you are mentioning in GSTR1, according similar kind of information is required to be mentioned in HSN summary over here. Try this HSN summary should match with your GSTR3B summary. Whatever you are declaring in table 4, 5, 10 and 11, your HSN summary should be exactly the same over here. So there is a question. R.K. Pradhanji is saying that if refund of IGST paid on exports is to be mentioned in table 15. If you have claimed the refund of the IGST paid on exports, if you have filed a refund application, you have received the claimed or not, if it is rejected, all the informations, but whatever transaction has happened during the said financial year, that data will appear over here in table 15. Then HSN wise summary of inward supply seeds, till now it is an optional area. Nobody is filling it. Every year there is a notification which says that this particular table has become optional. Still, no one is maintaining the data like that. See, I try my clients to maintain a huge database in Excels or in their softwares. I've got their softwares also amended, but it is very difficult to maintain the data of the HSN summary of the inward supply. See, once it was said that we will talk about only those HSN summary which things account for more than 10% of my total ITC. This can happen. See, when I say 10% more than my total ITC, so it will be about my raw materials. I can give that HSN summary. But general purchases, stationery, raw material, packing materials, and small general maintenance items, building repair and maintenance items, it will become hugely difficult for me to give that HSN summary. So till date, table 18 is optional, nobody is filling it. So jab tak ye optional hai, you can also avoid filling it, because if it will be required to be filled, it would be a huge effort. So once all your data is filled, you can go ahead and say compute liabilities. So once you compute liabilities, it says ready to file. If there would be any liability, it will appear here. Acha. Understand one thing, this is not going to give you the liability on account of interest payments, late payments, anything. It is not going to give you a liability on account of your GSTR1 wrong filed, your GSTR3B wrong filed. Nothing. It will just give you a liability on account of if you are filing this GSTR9 late. I believe there is a penalty of 100 or 200 rupees per day. I'm not sure, but this is something the late fees penalty on GSTR9. So it will calculate that. Then you need to say, okay, I accept, sign. And once you accept it, I'll show you. Once you do that, you have to first click on preview draft GSTR9 and preview draft Excel. You need to first click on that. Once you do that, thereafter only your file GSTR9 tab will become activated. Till that time, it will not be activated. Okay. So then you can go ahead and say file GSTR9. I'm not clicking it because this is wrong data for my firm. I'm not going to fill it up like that. So Nandini is saying table 17 is optional. Yes, Nandini, table 17 is also optional, but I always suggest that above than 5 CR. Now, if you will see in the current trend, there is something rule regarding that. Above 5 CR, we need to have a HSN summary in 6 digit, and above 2 CR or 1.5 CR, we need the HSN summary, HSN detail in 4 digit code. So if it has become mandatory and you are declaring it, so while filing GSTR9, you should declare your HSN summary accordingly. Whatever is your turnover, accordingly you should file your HSN summary. Okay. So now when I was doing my GSTR9, I brought my GSTR1 data to my GSTR3B. In the RICO sheet that we have discussed, we are able to determine the difference between 1 and 3B and 1 and 3B, then 3B and books. We know that difference. So now if I am liable only to file GSTR9, not 9C. But still I know there is a difference between my 3B and books. Please do go and file your payments through DRC03. Don't leave it along with interest. Whatever reconciliations in this format or any other format you are making along with the letter, attach it while filing your DRC03. Okay. So this is all about GSTR9. Your GSTR9C cannot be filed before filing your GSTR9. First thing. Very important first thing. Your 9C will not be filed before your 9 is not filed. 9 once filed cannot be revised. So how do you people need to work? How do I work? I'll give my example. So when I work, I'll prepare all my data for my GSTR9. Simultaneously, I'll prepare my data for GSTR9C as well. When both are in RICO, both are accurate. I know what I need to pay, what I don't need to pay. I have all the data with me. Then only I'll go ahead with filing of GSTR9. Once 9 is filed, because what happens is that in 9C, certain tables are filled with the data mentioned in GSTR9. So with the file GSTR9, I transfer certain data to my 9C and then only I'll file my GSTR9C. So that is why never do a thing like that. You are just making your 9 and not working on your 9C if you are liable to file to both. Okay. So once my 9 is filed, then I'll proceed to my 9C. If I go on the portal, see on the portal, I don't have an option right now to show you how 9C is filed. Where 9 is written over there only, there is always an option of 9C. So this is 9. Over here only I have an option of 9C also. So once it is filed, my 9C will become active. I'm going to share the PPTs with you people. It has all the screenshots and all the basic theoretical data. So over there I have shown you how the 9C is there, how you need to go to file it. 9C is always done through your utility. It's never done online. In the utility file, you will write all the things in your Excel, then you will generate your JSON and upload it. On the portal online, you are just required to attach the attachments. Whatever is required to be attached, what is required to be attached, your balance sheet, your P&L, cash flow if applicable, then your reconciliation statement. These are the 4 things you are required to attach, and if there is any other attachment you have to attach in support of your data, you can do that. Okay. So I have already downloaded the old GSTR9C offline utility. It is available with me. So Arkipdhanji is saying to repeat. Arkipdhanji, I'm saying, how do you file your 9C? So 9C is always filed through offline utility. You can't fill up the figures on the portal as we have done in case of GSTR9. So in GSTR9, your entire data was available and I was filling up the data. It is not so the case with GSTR9C. So you need to have an Excel utility. You need to fill up the data over there and then you will generate your JSON and upload it in 9C. And then over there in the 9C, it gives you an option to attach the attachments. What are the attachments? Attachment is the balance sheet, profit and loss account, cash flow statement if it is applicable to that particular concern, your reconciliation statement, or any other attachment if you think that is important in support of your reconciliation or your claim. You need to file that as well. So these are the attachments for your GSTR-9C. Also, one important thing, when I say that my GST registration is PAN based, let's talk about me only. So this is my Rajasthan registration. I have a registration in Delhi also. I have a registration in Bangalore also. So I have 3 registrations. So I have got myself registered, but my balance sheet is one. Okay. I'm not getting balance sheets made separately for my different units. So I have one balance sheet. So when I'll go to GSTR-9C, my attachment would be one signed balance sheet only. I'm not going to give it branch wise. So whenever there are factory or units, you will give the consolidated balance sheet, not the individual balance sheet. Okay. So if you want to see where you will get your 9C utility, downloads, offline tools, this is your 9C offline. This is your offline download button. From here, you can download your GSTR-9C utility. Okay. So I've already downloaded. I'm going to open it. So this is a macro file. Macros have been disabled. I am enabling all my macros. Without that, my file won't work. So this is the very first page. What I need to do over here is that I need to mention my F. Yeah, I too don't remember my entire GSTIN for Rajasthan. F1Z7. 1Z7. Okay, then I need to mention which financial year I'm talking about. So this is a old utility, still 2021 is not there. I'm not getting the option to write it. I'm selecting 1920. Then it is asking your firm name. See, might be this utility might get changed a little bit, but not entirely, because the new utility is not there still on the portal. Name of the act, if you're liable to tax audit, Income Tax Act. I am liable under Income Tax Act. You are a company, you are liable under Companies Act. You need to mention that. Next question is that is the person making reconciliation statement is the same person who has conducted the audit of the mentioned GSTIN. So what it says, the person filing your GSTR-9C. Now I think this question will be removed because no more further certification is required from the chartered accountants. For the previous years, it means is the person filing your GSTR-9C, certifying your 9C, is it the same person who has done your stat audit under the Income Tax Act? If it is same, then write yes. If it is not same, then no. Let's suppose I'm saying no. And then now my tool will start. There are multiple sheets over here which I am required to fill up to do my GSTR-9C. Let's start with it. So this is first of all your turnover. Turnover including exports as per the audited financial statements for the state UT. Now this is saying this turnover would be your GSTIN based. Now I don't need a turnover PAN based. पूरी कंट्री का टर्नओवर नहीं चाहिए मुझे यहाँ पे, यहाँ मुझे आपका उस पर्टिकुलर स्टेट के या उस पर्टिकुलर GSTIN के. For multi GSTIN units under the same PAN, the turnover shall be derived from the audited financial statements. See, people now understand the practical aspect. Attachments may I have to put up my consolidated balance sheet. But obviously, when I have branches, I am finalizing my books of accounts. I am maintaining separate set of books of accounts for all my branches. So I always have the data regarding my every unit. So this is a annual return for my Rajasthan unit. So I will mention the turnover over here as per my books for the Rajasthan unit only. I'm not going to mention it for my all India turnover. So let's suppose over here my turnover comes out to be 2.5 lakh, 2.5. Then these are multiple areas you need to fill in. We'll discuss them. Multiple areas you're required to fill in. Then it will come declare here turnover as declared in GSTR9. What is the turnover? What figure it is going to take here? You can go through your info page and get that. What exactly is this column? 5Q. Read me. I went to read me. Then I went to 5Q. 5Q takes the figure of, now you will learn the importance why I was asking you to remember the table names. 5Q says annual turnover as declared in 9 shall be declared here. This turnover may be derived from serial number 5 and 10 and 11 of annual return. So what it is saying, serial number 5n, what value was there in table 5n plus table 10 minus table 11. So that value will appear over here in 5Q of GSTR-9C. Getting it? So this is the reason I made you learn the table names. So when I go over there, I will write here the value as per 5n plus 10 minus 11. So what I've told you, prepare your 9 and 9C simultaneously, but first file your 9 and then your 9C will take the figures from filed GSTR9. So what figure you will feed here, because you are preparing both of them simultaneously, still your 9 is not filed. So I will mention the figure what is appearing in my draft GSTR9, table 5n plus table 10 minus table 11. This cell R, this row R will give me their unreconciled turnover. If after doing all the adjustments, still there would be any unreconciled turnover, it will be given me here. And in the next sheet, it has given me the options that you can provide with the reasons that why there is an unreconciled turnover. There is an option to add multiple reason boxes. If I'll click on add, I can add reason 1, I can add reason 2, reason 3. It might be let's suppose the unreconciled turnover comes out to 20,000. But that 20,000 is arising on account of 4-5 reasons. Might be 4-5 transactions, different. So when I'll go on this 0.26, I'll mention the reasons for every transaction. Now this 9C has to be very clear. You have to mention the reason even for a single rupee miscalculation. Now let's see what are the reasons, the adjustments that you will do in order to bring your turnover as per your audited statements towards the turnover declared in GSTR3B. इसको पढ़ने से पहले, ठीक है, ये हम करेंगे. इससे पहले, if I'll ask you a question, give me the reasons because of which the turnover as per books can be different from the turnover as per your GSTR3B files for the entire year. Give me the reasons. Come out, people with answers. What can be the reasons? So Pranavi is saying entries deleted post filing of returns or entering invoices after filing returns. Okay, acceptable. और क्या reasons हो सकते हैं? Missing bills. Sushma, we can't talk about purchase invoices because currently we are talking about the sales bill. No, don't talk about purchases. We are talking about output liability. So till now, whatever answers I have got, people are talking about some mistake or I have missed to enter a bill. This is fine. This is a mistake that I know I've already incurred. Let's suppose there is no mistake. But there can be reasons because of which my turnover as per books and turnover as per 3B are not matching. Give me that reason. Alaguji is saying interest income. Okay, I can accept it. This is a exempt income, interest income, and it is not covered over here. Even if you don't declare it, it's okay. Interest income, Alaguji, is always a part of my other income. It's not a part of my direct income. I have accounted in my books of account, but it is a part of my other income. It is never shown in my trading account. It is shown in my down the line P&L account. Give me some examples, people, practical example. No, I'm not talking about any of the mistake. So I'll just give you a few examples. Tell me, what is the treatment of stock transfer? If I have 3 branches and I am doing stock transfer, what it will happen in the balance sheet and what will happen in my GSTR-3B? Satyanji is saying cross charge. Satyanji, cross charge is different from stock transfer. Both the concepts are not same. Veena is correct. Veena is giving me the second example. Sale of capital goods. Correct. Okay. So stock transfer. See, what happens is that in stock transfer, if I have multiple units, I am showing it as a sale in 3B. Stock transfer, I have cleared this doubt earlier as well. Stock transfer is like any other sale for a GSTIN. I'm going to issue a tax invoice and I'm going to make the payment. So that stock transfer will form a part of my GSTR-3B. But when I talk about my audited books of accounts, that stock transfer is never a part of my audited books of accounts because it is eliminated. From one sales it is eliminated and from one purchases it is eliminated. Similar is the case of sale of capital goods. So whenever there is a sale of capital goods, and we have already studied about how to determine your GST liability on the sale of capital goods. So if that is happening, so sale of capital goods will not be ever part of my turnover as per my books of account, because all the adjustments for the sale of capital goods would be happening in my fixed asset chart. It won't be hitting my turnover, but the same is going to hit my GSTR-3B turnover. So this is also one of the reason why my books of account and my GSTR-3B will be different. Then the third reason can be discounts. So I am giving certain discounts, but without GST impact. Discount was a very disputed area since the beginning of the law, that whether GST apply on discounts or not. So because of discounts, my turnover gets reduced. If it is a cash discount that is happening, my turnover get reduced, even trade discounts. But the 3B is not taking the impact of it. On 3B, we are paying the taxes on the total invoice value. So again, my 3B value and my audited books value will not be matching. Okay. Something was coming in my mind. Books will not be matching with 3B. Discounts over here. Then there is for sure advances. On advances, we pay GST under GST law, but the advances does not become a part of my turnover as per the books of accounts. So again, it leads to a difference. Then one more area, if you have practically experienced it, for sales return, what is happening? Sometimes my customers are issuing me a tax invoice. I'm receiving a tax invoice instead of me issuing a credit note. This is not happening, and my customers are issuing a tax invoice. So when my customers are issuing a tax invoice, how my liability is getting reduced? The ITC is coming through 2A into my portal. So in GST returns, I am taking the ITC. But what is happening in the books of account? I book it as a purchase, but then through journal entries, I'm making it as a sales return, because actually this is a sales return. My turnover is getting reduced. How can I inflate my turnover? As per the income tax law, whatever is actual turnover, I have to declare that. So even if I receive a tax invoice from my customers, I'm going to book it as a purchase, and then through journal entry, I will transfer that purchase to my sales return. Okay. So many reasons are there because of which my audited books of accounts are not similar to what data I have declared in 3B. So through 9C, in the very first sheet, my target is to match the value as per my books to my value as per GSTR 3B. And whenever you are doing the reconciliation, you have to be very sure either this unreconciled turnover comes to 0. If this difference does not comes out to be 0, because I'm mentioning over here 2 lakhs. And as per my 3B, I have paid taxes on 2 lakhs, but as per my books, it is 2.5 lakhs. So if this difference is coming negative, it means you are liable to pay taxes now. You have paid less taxes through your 3B as compared to what you were required to pay. So in the next sheet, when you are going to declare the reasons for the differences, declare it, and then you need to pay it. And I actually suggest to my clients that what you need to do, instead of paying it after filing of my GSTR-9C, while doing the reconciliation, I realized this is a difference. I ask them to make the payment at that time only. I make the payment through DRC 03. So let's suppose I'm mentioning here reason number 1. Due to ABC reason, there was a short payment of 50,000 for the month of this. The same has been paid by DRC 03, having challan number this, dated this, and this amount. So I ask my clients to make the payment, and I declare it in the reason that okay, agreed, this was a short payment on my side, but I have made the payment now, and there is no short payment on account of any default. Okay? This is how we deal with it. So now let's come back and let's quickly finish it up, that what are the reasons. So first is turnover as per books of accounts, then unbilled revenue at the beginning of the year. So if you will follow the accounting standard 9, I believe it is accounting standard 9 only, that if there is any unbilled revenue, but before the filing of the balance sheet, I know that this is the revenue that is accounted for and relates to last financial year. So while finalizing the balance sheet, I will add that revenue in my turnover for the last financial year. But in the GST return, I have not included that while filing my 3B for the month of, till the month of March. So what I'll do, I'll add that turnover here to come to my 3B turnover. It is unbilled revenue at the beginning of the year. So why it is added? Because it is of the April 20 happening in last financial year. So unbilled revenue at the beginning of the financial year, this, if let's talk in terms of, this will work here. So okay, it's not okay. I don't know if it will work. It's not working here. So leave it. So unbilled revenue at the beginning of the year, let's take it on this sheet. We are filing for financial year 2021. So if it is in the beginning of the year, so it means, let's suppose April 20. So this must have been accounted in financial year 1920 books of accounts. And it has, the taxes must have been paid, GST must have been paid in April 20. So my books of accounts 2021 were not containing this sales figure. So what I'm going to do in this, I am going to add this April 20 figure, unbilled revenue, because this was a part of my GSTR-3B, to bring my books of accounts equivalent to my GSTR-3B. Then the next is unadjusted advances at the end of the financial year. If there are any advances as on 31st March 21 still lying as an advances, it means it's not a part of my books, but taxes have been paid to 3B. So I'll add this figure into my books value. Then there is deemed supply under schedule 1. If there is any deemed supply on which taxes have been paid because of them being deemed supply, but it is not a part of my audited turnover, I'll add it here because I have paid taxes on the same. Next is credit notes issued after end of the financial year but reflected in the annual return. It means the credit notes were issued after 31st March 21, but it was taken into account in the annual return. It was reduced from my GST annual return value. एनुअल रिटर्न में हमने ये वहां पे डिक्लेयर कर दिया, तो इसलिए हम इसको यहाँ बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट से भी रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं. अब नीचे फॉर्मूला जो है ना, इसको भी आप साथ के साथ देख सकते हैं कि क्या क्या ऐड हो रहा है आपकी टर्नओवर में और क्या क्या यहाँ पे रिड्यूस हो रहा है. सो ए में हमने बी ऐड किया, सी ऐड किया, डी ऐड किया और ई हमने यहाँ पे रिजेक्ट कर दिया. Then there are trade discounts which are audited in the annual financial statements. आपकी बुक्स में वो trade discounts accounted है, but आपके not permissible under GST. When I say not permissible under GST, मतलब जिसके ऊपर आपने GST नहीं लगाया. So इसलिए मैं add back कर देती हूँ, क्योंकि उसकी वजह से मेरी turnover कम हुई होगी, but in as per GST records, my turnover has not reduced on account of it, so I will add back it. Turnover from April 17 to June 17. This column was required when we were filing the annual return for financial year 17-18. Because the audited turnover was for the entire financial year, and April 17 to June 17, it was the period when excise, VAT or service tax was applicable. So we used to eliminate that turnover. Now what we have done over here, uska opposite hai niche, unbilled revenue at the end of the financial year. If there is unbilled revenue at the end of the financial year, we will reduce it. If there were unadjusted advances at the beginning of the financial year, that is in the beginning of 2020, so we will eliminate it. We will minus it, because now obviously the tax invoices would have been issued. So when tax invoices would have been issued, so in GST there would be no tax payment because we have already paid the taxes on the advances, but my turnover would be including that sales invoice. Now it would have impacted, so I'm reducing that adjustment of advances from my audited books of account. Similarly, credit notes accounted in the audited financial statements but not permissible under GST. If there is any adjustment on account of supply of goods by SEZ units, if there is any adjustment done by SEZ units, they are making a supply to DTA. DTA is your normal registrations, normal domestic territory units, and SEZ is special economic zones. If you were under composition scheme, you will eliminate it. If during the year you have changed from composition scheme to a normal scheme, you will eliminate your composition turnover from here. Then if there is any adjustment in turnover under section 15 and rules there under, you will declare it here. Taxable value things, valuation things happen over there. If there is any adjustment due to foreign exchange fluctuation, foreign exchange fluctuations happen like you have received an advance but the billing was done later on. So when you have received the advance, the rate of foreign exchange conversion was different. You pay taxes on some different amount. Now, when you have raised the sale invoice, the rate is different. So you will be billing for some different amount. So depending upon that, if there is any adjustment, if there is any other reason not listed above, just the reasons that we have talked about, like sale of capital asset or sale of my stock transfer, you can mention it here. And then turnover as declared in annual return, and there comes the difference. So what I also usually do, if I am mentioning something in O, this table 5O, adjustment in turnover due to reasons not listed above, if I'm mentioning a consolidate figure here and that figure is consisting of 4 or 5 separate heads, then what I do, I go to this reason page, I even mention it here. Others, which is not clear, I mention the reason that the others is a bifurcation of this amount, and this is account of this. If my try to bring it zero, this unreconciled turnover as a zero. If it is not zero, it means you are liable to pay taxes. If it is a negative figure, if it is a positive figure, then you are liable to claim a refund. Whatever I am mentioning in this O, I am going to give a bifurcation here. It's good. See, it's a good habit. You are giving a clarification to the department at the very first end. That this is something I want to explain to the department, that why there is a difference in the turnover as per my books of account and as per what I have filed in GSTR-3B. Then the next point, what it says, it will take the data from 5P above. 5P is this. What my turnover comes after all the adjustments, it will take that particular data, and then it will say that please provide with your exempted, nil rated, zero rated supplies without payment of taxes. This is basically what we have filled in table 5 of GSTR9 as per books of accounts. In table 5, we have filled data as per GSTR3B. Now over here we will mention the data as per your books of accounts. Okay. Now in this 7F, what data is going to take? Let's see. 7F. It takes data taxable turnover as declared in table 4N minus 4G. 4N was without including your this exempted nil rated things. 4G was your reverse charge liability, the output liability on which you were paying taxes because of reverse charge, plus 10 minus 11. Table 10 and 11 were your amendments, your adjustments. So it takes that figure. So point 2, what it is doing, over here it took the entire turnover, included your nil rated, exempted, zero rated, everything. Then when it went to point 7, it eliminated it, zero rated, nil rated, reverse charge basis, everything from here, and then it matches it with that figure of your GSTR9. Again, same principle. The difference should be zero. If not zero, you're liable to pay taxes. Over here, you come and declare that this is the reason that because of which I'm liable to pay taxes. Okay. Getting till here, 9 and 9C. 9 we have completed, and 9C we have completed here 2 points. The output things. Okay. So today we will stop our class here. Tomorrow morning we will continue from here only. We are going to complete 9C tomorrow. We are going to pick up refunds also. 1 or 2 more small topics we are going to cover tomorrow. And any questions of you, we will take them tomorrow in the class. I hope 9 and 9C is going good. Any confusions, any doubt? See, on this, what I believe is that once you people will be doing hands-on training, the practical things on 9 and 9C, you will get everything. Obviously, first return, multiple doubts would be there. What to fill, what not to fill. But once you will again go back to your study material, what you have done, what you have all filed, then it will become easy for you. Teluguji is asking that like 9C, can we opt for filing GSTR9C voluntarily? See, Alaguji, if that 9C column will appear in my table, then only I can opt that. Till last year, it was there. So I have even filed GSTR-9C for many of my clients whose turnover was below 2 CR voluntarily. But in the current year, see, a lot of changes have been done by the department. I'm not even seeing that box on my annual return. So for current year, I'm not sure. Let's see, let's wait for another 2-3 weeks. The notification has come into existence. So hopefully in next 2-3 weeks, the 9C will be made available online and then only we can decide. Okay. So people, let's wind up over here today. Tomorrow morning, we will meet exactly at 8 and we'll continue from here only. Okay. Thank you very much. Good night. Have a nice evening.